Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the TurfCast podcast full-time show. Of course, it's the Palace game we're going to talk about today. It's just finished, about 10, 15 minutes ago, and it's another point, and it's another point that edges us further to safety, because that's obviously what we need to be doing, don't we? If you'd have said a couple of weeks ago, you'll get 7 points from Brighton away, Spurs at home, and Palace away, you'd have took it all day long, wouldn't you? So we're in a decent position now, I think it's fair to say, feeling much, much better about things than we were a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, there's no Simon today. Me and Simon are both going to a do tonight, and that meant that he couldn't come on because he's got to go and get his step-parents. That's what they called, his missus' mum and dad. So he's running some errands. Johnny Tate's gone to the cinema. So it's just me and some guests. We've got one in already, so I'll bring Matt in pretty soon. But just to quickly give my summary on the game. First off, we're poor, weren't we? I think it's fair to say. First off, we were very poor. Palace had the better of pretty much anything in the first 45. We were slow, lethargic. We were second to every ball. Our people were texting me saying this ain't good enough. Matt's one of them. He can have his say in a minute. Johnny Tate as well. But the second half, we didn't do anything different. We just got that early goal, and then, momentum's a big thing in football, and goals change games, and then we were just much better after that, much better after that. But let's have a quick look around the grounds. Let's see what else has gone on today. Unfortunately, I'm going to say unfortunately, I think that the results would have taken them today. Is the one that is quite annoying is this one. Watford Man United couldn't break down Watford when you would have fully expected them to. So they have, of course, got a point as well. But with us getting a point as well, it doesn't really matter. Everton are playing Man City soon. That's the other important one for us. And, of course, Brentford and Newcastle. Now, I would have obviously preferred that one to be a draw. Let me know in the comments what you think. But if anyone's going to lose that game, I'd rather it be Brentford, because I think they're the team that's going to get dragged into it. And they did get a man sent off quite early on. Just quickly looking at it now after clicking that. I think it was in like the 10th minute or something like that, 11th minute. So you would have expected Newcastle to win that from there. And of course, it did do. Chris Wood still hasn't scored for them, though. Brighton Villa still going on at the minute. There was a delay due to traffic or something. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Like I said, it's something to do with traffic. Villa arrived late. The Championship, unfortunately, Blackburn won. Aki Stanley, 10 men, but managed to get a 3-2 win. And League Two, Mark Hughes' first game as Bradford manager, he couldn't end up getting them a win. Forest Green, who are at the top, won. And who else is doing well in League Two? I can't remember. Tranmere, isn't it? And they got battered 4-2. So not a good day for fans doing well in League Two. But the most important thing is let's have a look at the league table. Let's see what today's point does for us in terms of that. Obviously, as you can see, apologies, I have a very, very slow computer. Just taking forever to load. There we go. But that's the bottom of the table. So Norwich, who of course lost yesterday, weren't it? Yeah, they're now 4 points adrift of us, and we've got 2 games in hand on them. So you can say they're pretty much dead and buried. Even though Watford have picked up a point today, I still think they're gone, if I'm honest with you. They're 2 points behind us when they've played 2 games more. Teams above us, Leeds murdered again today, beating 4-0 at home to Spurs. Everton playing later on. Brentford are in absolute freefall. Look at Newcastle, all the way up in 14th now. Just 2 points away from Leicester. Look at their form, Newcastle. Fair play to them. So the win today, draw last time out before that against Newcastle, then 3 wins in a row. And of course, our form isn't much worse. There's just only that defeat in there against Liverpool. So I don't think we're too far behind them on that front. But another point today. The momentum keeps going. I'll just read out a comment that we've had. Islanders Never Say Die podcast says, think Brentford are in serious trouble of going down. Yeah, mate, I'd pretty much agree with that. I'm going to bring Matt in just a second. So, Matt, if you want to turn your camera on, I can see you down there. There he is. He's just turned his camera on. So we're going to bring Matt in for his first ever appearance on TurfCast. There he is. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm not bad, you?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. So, do you agree with my summary there of the game? Like I said, I feel like the first 45 we were pretty poor. We looked lethargic. The commentator on my perfectly legal stream, and it is now actually perfectly saying that we were passive, and that's the perfect word to use. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, he said that on mine as well. But yeah, I think like you said, we were slow in midfield. They had more in midfield, and I think they just dominated us going forward in that midfield area.
Yeah, I think Vieira won the tactical battle there in the first half. I think he just put 3 in the middle, like you say, and they just overran us in the middle of the park, and we got no joy whatsoever. No joy whatsoever. We were just slow, lethargic, and I struggle to see how we were going to get back into it in the second half.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it doesn't help that we've played like twice in 6 days, sort of thing. That's the third game
3
in a
times,
week.
isn't it? Yeah. Obviously, we
So
played
I don't think that
last
helps.
Sunday. We played last Sunday, didn't we?
Sort of thing. So,
but that's not going to get any better, is it? Because we've got Leicester on Tuesday. So
yeah, and then
it's going to be another tough one.
Is it a big team again after that?
You know what? You've caught me off guard there, mate. I'm not exactly sure. Let's just quickly look at the
commentators are saying we had Chelsea coming up and.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You are right because it's on March the 5th, and that's my little boy's birthday. So the missus has put a foot down and said I can't go on it. So unfortunately for that one, yeah. Let's just have a look at the fixtures then. So we've got Leicester next on Tuesday, then Chelsea next Saturday. Brentford away. Obviously, I'll be going to that one. Then we've got. Then finally we've got a bit of a gap because we don't play again until a week after that when we've got Southampton at home, another good side but another winnable game, and then a 2-week gap and we've got Man City at home. So at least we'll be well rested for that Man City game. But
I think the Brentford one's the big one, isn't it? That we need to get 3 points from, really.
Yeah, I think Leicester's a big game as well. If you look at them, just 2 points above. I'll bring the league table back in, but if we just look at them, just 2 points above Newcastle now. I'm not saying they're in danger. I don't think they are.
I think they're catchable, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are catchable for Newcastle and us are in decent form, but I just think there's too many teams down there for them to go down. But for me, what I'm trying to say is it's a winnable game because they're not all there. However, Jamie Vardy has been injured, so I'm not sure if he's going to be back. So
no idea, but he always causes problems.
Yeah, exactly. So if he's back, he's going to cause us problems. So we're getting some comments coming in. If you are watching, please get your comments in. I'll do my best to read them out. Graham Jennings says Brentford season rest on 3 games. I think Norwich and Burnley next to then Leeds on the final day. Yeah, but you are spot on, Graham. But a lot of people were saying today was part of that, and of course they've lost one of them already. So it's I can't see I just can't see Brentford staying up as it stands. We have got the momentum. We need to carry this momentum on though. And we have done today. It's a good point in that. So fingers crossed we can carry on with that. And Mark,
before we started.
Sorry, go on, mate. Yeah, I think I was talking to you, weren't I, before the game, weren't I? I'd take a point. Yeah. 100% I'd take a point.
But when we were going into it, I just had a feeling we were going to get hammered. And after that first half, I thought, might as well turn it off after this. But then we came to in the second half. But like you said, nothing changed, but they were just poor. And we took a bit more of a chance.
I just feel like they got bollocked at half time a little bit because he didn't change the system or anything at all. I actually had to delete a tweet because I put a tweet out saying like no subs at half time. Not sure what the thinking is there, and literally 40 seconds later we'd scored, so no one had seen it, so I quickly deleted it. I just think it's a case of us coming out the blocks, getting the goal, and not to go full cliche on everybody, but goals do change games. So it was just one of them where massively. It changed it. We had the momentum. And we went from there. Mark Howarth says, I think Miller, I can never pronounce his name, took his own goal superbly. Team looked flat in the first half. Yeah, we did. We did look flat. Why do you think we look so flat then, Matt? Why do you think we look flat?
I just think it's the amount of games in such a short time. And obviously we've only got a small squad, haven't we? So I don't think that really helps us.
Yeah, I think I said that on the pre-game show, didn't I? I think I predicted 0-0, actually. I put 1-1 on the Super 6, so I'll have 5 points there. I think it had draw written all over it, didn't it? I don't
think we're ever going to go and win at Palace like we have done in the past.
Yeah, I'll bring the league table in one more time. This is for you, Matt, because I'm going to ask you about the relegation battle. So the momentum is with us and Newcastle, I think it's fair to say. So who do you think? Do you think we'll stay up?
I think we've got a good chance, yeah. I mean, you look at it before, like a few games ago, and you think, no, we're done and dusted. But then you look at the table and think, well, there's only, 4 points, and we're on 25 points, same as Newcastle, which would overtake Newcastle on goal difference. So it's one of them. It just depends how games go and the results go our way, sort of thing. But I don't think Everton will stay down there, not with a new manager like Frank.
I think Everton are good at home and poor away. Now, they're playing at home tonight, but they're playing Man City, so you would think that they'll get beat.
I can't see them beating City. Not after City got battered by Spurs. I think they'll want to come back and prove a point.
Yeah, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Another thing, there's a comment here from Islanders Never Say Die podcast, and he says, have to hope that Cornet is back for Tuesday. Obviously, Corney was on the bench, so he was back today.
Yeah, I
Dyche
think that was
opted
stupid
not
sub
to.
by Dyche.
I'd have brought him on. I would have brought him on, but I agree with not starting him. What do you think?
No, I agree. I'd have kept the same team as we did on Wednesday night. That we won at Spurs, put a decent performance in, but then I'd have bring him off the bench for Jay or for a winger. But I don't know which winger I'd take off.
I'd have brought Corney on and took Jay off. I think I
wouldn't have brought Barnes on because I think he give away a foul, a needless foul, like he does. I just think we needed someone up top who could get in behind quick enough because they were lacking at the back.
Yeah, especially in that second half, they were pretty poor. I think, and they do struggle with set pieces. I think that I said on Twitter dinner that sub showed Dyche's intentions for the last 5-10 minutes, and it worked perfectly well.
And get that point.
Yeah, and if we'd have got a set piece, it's another bit of danger from the set piece, isn't it? We're getting some more comments coming in. Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm getting loads of free advertising to this podcast on my podcast here. Says Everton has a tough schedule. And you are right. I think they've got some very tough games. I agree with Matt, though. I do think Everton will get out of it. I just think they've got enough quality. Same with Leeds. I don't see Leeds. I know they've been absolutely dreadful. And they were shocking again today. They've been shocking for a while. But it showed. I watched the Leeds game before the Burnley game. And it cut to Phillips, Bamford and Cooper in the crowd. And you just know that when them three come back, they're going to change them properly.
Yeah,
I think
Bamford
Leeds
will
will be
start
fine.
scoring for him, and Phillips will bring that midfield back together, won't he?
Yeah,
he's got a lot more strength than that. Who plays there now? It's only a small guy, isn't he?
There's got what's he called now? They've got like Click. He plays there. I think. So according to something that I saw today, he tried Ayling there, but I don't know if that's right because when I watched it, I felt like Ayling was at right back, to be honest. So if he is putting Ayling there, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Bielsa walk between now and the end of the season. We're getting some comments coming in. Matt, I want to ask you about McNeil's performance because I've seen a comment here from John Fitzpatrick, who's got a very lovely profile picture there, John. It says, McNeil looked class again today. Not played as good as the last two games, but still grabbed a well-earned point. I thought McNeil was a little bit... I think McNeil personified... Yeah, McNeil personified the team, I think, for me. In the first half, he was off it. In the second half, he was decent again without really creating too much.
I think in the first
sometimes
half,
you do need to do the dirty work.
I think he went backwards and sideways a lot in the first half, and then second half he came to. He had a go at Klein a few times and put a decent ball in the box. But other than that, I think when we're putting the balls in the box as well, our front two seem to go near post together.
Yeah,
and then just leave the back post open, and a few went into the back post and there was no one there. But could just be tactics sort of thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I felt in the first half he was doing that quite a lot, like you said. I even texted you, didn't I, saying cul-de-sac is back because he just he likes to run into a hole and then he's too one-footed and then he'll spin around and go backwards. But I do agree with John that in the second half he was pretty good. Random username says, is Eric injured? He was class in the first half. I actually thought Eric was poor, to be fair, mate. He's been class recently, but Zaha were getting a bit of joy against him and things like that. But I would presume he's injured or Charlie Taylor will now be the guy there anyway, just because he's a better footballer, to be honest. John Ingham says... Sorry, go on, mate.
I don't think Charlie Taylor was that impressive when he came on.
No, but
he didn't really have much to do, did he?
It's going to take a while to get back into it, I think, is Charlie. He's been out for a while. Hopefully, Tuesday will be that time, but it's looking like Eric will have a spell on the sidelines now. John Ingham says, we were a little flat today. Decent result, but draws aren't going to keep us up. I disagree, John. All we needed to do today was keep the momentum going. Yes, draws aren't going to keep us up if we draw every single game. Well, actually, they probably would, to be honest. But we do need to start winning games. But a draw away from home, never to be sniffed at, mate. And I'm just going to bring in Dan because he's nodding, and I've heard the StreamYard pop noise when someone comes in. Dan from Turf Morehouse TV is in. Dan, I'll let you take the lead on this one. What do you think to John's comment there? Because, I agree, draws aren't going to keep us up at home to Norwich and, Watford, but a draw away at Palace, that's not to be sniffed at, is it?
No, is it? I'd have took a point before we even kicked the ball, to be fair. I predicted 2-2. I'm very happy with a point. I think it was a scrappy game. We could have easily lost that one as well.
Towards the end,
the first couple of minutes we got on the front foot, tried to take the game to them, but then sort of slowly but surely they made us creep back. And, their goal and our goal were pretty much similar. Not just in terms of the fact that it was scored by a Palace player, but it just is one of those. A draw is a very good point away at Selhurst Park. They've just come off the back of a really good win against Watford. we've just had that win against Spurs. The games have been coming thick and fast for us as well. We've had a Sunday, Wednesday, now Saturday. Now we're back at the turf on Tuesday as well. It's pretty much like, championship football, isn't it? Where you've got one midweek, one weekend. So you are going to have a couple of tired legs as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm very happy with that point. Very happy with that point, because we could have easily lost that.
Yeah, I think towards the end we could have lost that, and pretty much throughout the entire first half we could have been 3-0 down really at half time without them. Really, they didn't create that much, but they were easily the better side. I brought the league table back in just to reiterate what you were saying there, Dan, about how it's been a good point. They've had a good season this season. Look at them; they're in 11th. They're in no danger of going down whatsoever. They're above Palace, and sorry, not Palace. They are Palace. They're above Villa, and people have been raving about Villa since Gerrard's gone there. So that tells me that that's a very, very good point. Laura says, my perfectly legal stream was having a nightmare, so I've got no idea what happened. Basically, Laura, we were shit in the first half and good in the second half, apart from the last 10 when we sat back a little bit. I've asked Matt already, so Dan, I'll ask you again. And, it's a question that I'm going to ask you every single week. Obviously, every time you're on the stream. We have now another point on the board. You came on against Spurs. You were like, 95%. Sorry, not the Spurs. 95% it will still go down after the Brighton game. I've listened to the Spurs podcast, but obviously I wasn't on that one. What are your thoughts now in terms of where we are staying up? What percentage are you that we will stay up?
The more games we play, the more I'm sort of thinking, right, we've got a chance here. Especially with today's game, I was expecting us to come out and deliver a second half performance similar to United, but it's a totally different game when you're playing Palace. It's very scrappy. I'll drop it down to 80.
80. So you're 80% that we're going down.
Still 80% that we're going down, but it's dropping. It is dropping drastically. So
you know what? It's an improvement. So I'll take it. I'm in the not that we definitely. I am quietly confident now that we'll do it. But I admit I'm quite emotional.
The only reason the thing is, I literally want to sit here and blurt out, we are staying up and everything else. I want to say it, but this season has just been it's so unscripted. You don't know what's going to come around the corner. And, all it takes is a couple of our players to get some serious knocks, couple of games where we just absolutely just don't show up. Get this Leicester game out of the way.
If Vegos gets injured, then we might as well just pack up and go home.
I thought Vegos were pretty quiet today, to be fair.
He
was.
Yeah, but I think they knocked out the game, didn't they?
They isolated his game, really.
And I think the part that we were talking about in the first part of the stream, that they overran the midfield, it meant he couldn't drop back as easily as well, where he gets a lot of joy in the midfield. But yeah, it was quiet. I've already asked Matt again, so I'll ask you, what did you make of Dyche's subs? Because bringing Barnes on, we've got a point, so I do feel a bit weird criticising it. Bringing Barnes on quite late on when Corney sat on bench, I'd have gone the other way and maybe tried to go for it.
It's interesting because I look at what Rich from Eagle Eyed Football, Crystal Palace podcast platform, they said that, if we get the ball down and play football like we have been doing recently, Palace will try and open us up and utilise that because that's where they're probably stronger. But if we do the old Burnley and play that long ball football and get in your face, Palace will shit themselves because they don't like, aerial threats. So I was almost thinking when he brought Barnes on, is that going to change it? Are we going to sort of revert back to that to try and do something? But we didn't. We tried to use a sort of a mix of both. However, I do totally agree. I think Cornet should have got some minutes. Yeah. I'd have even took probably Veghorst off and give Cornet a couple of minutes with J-Rod. We had the goal ruled out as well. I mean, they were offside. We can't deny that. The thing is, it's one of them. I was just cheesed off. It just made me think when I watched it of those moments where you used to be at pub, just sat there going, "Oh, but you were offside." Yeah, well, referee gave it. Like, I miss those days. I miss those days of refereeing errors, and just now we're having to sit there on bated breath.
Yeah, to be fair, whereas now we can still just say, "Oh well, VAR's wrong," as some people do incorrectly, obviously. But if we do stay up, obviously Laura's said Leeds are in big trouble. Like me, and don't think you were in the stream at that point, Laura, but me and Matt have already spoken about about Leeds. So I think they'll have Calvin and the rest of them coming back, and they'll be okay. If we do stay up, Dan, even though 80% that we don't, but if that 20% comes true, who are we catching? Is it Brentford?
Yeah. Brentford and Everton. They're the two.
Everton.
They're the two for me. I'm hoping Man City absolutely tear Everton and Newcastle at half.
Well, it's 4 minutes to now. So, hopefully by the time we finish this stream, because I'm going to have to wrap it up in around 10:15, I've got somewhere to be again tonight, annoyingly, because I could just sit here and talk about the game all day. But hopefully, by the time we're on the stream, it's already 2-3-0. But we've had some predictions. Leicester up next. Matt, I'll start with you on this one. It's winnable, isn't it? I know I made a passive comment earlier about it being a winnable game, but I think Vardy might be coming back at some point. They've not played this weekend, so they're going to be fresher.
Yeah, I think it is winnable. Every game's winnable, isn't it? It just depends how you turn up and play, sort of thing. Like we beat City in our own backyard before, and we turned up well then. But it's just whether
going back some time that.
Well, yeah, we're buoyed. But it depends whether we turn up like we have done today or we turn up against like we did with Spurs. I think if we turn up like we did against Spurs, then I think we can have them. But if we turn up like the first half today, then no. I think it'll be a tough one.
Tony says Brentford and Leeds will be overtaken. You know what? I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I do think Leeds will be okay in terms of their fight for survival. Leicester, Dan, what are your thoughts? Winnable?
Yeah. I mean, I've just done a watch along with a Leicester fan, and he even said the game against Randers, which they won in the second leg, he said he wasn't overly joyed by their performance in that second leg, even though they won it 3-1. He said the performance wasn't there. So you've got to take it to him. However, as you said, the spur of Vardy being back, he's always a threat against Burnley, isn't he? And that's probably what fears us the most. He just crops up with a goal from nowhere. We need to be on our toes. We need that same crowd atmosphere that we had against Spurs. We need to keep that mentality going at home now. Make Turf Moor a fortress again. And fingers crossed, we can get over the line. But things are going right. You know what? I wouldn't even really make any changes from this game. I'd for a third week in a row keep the same team out there, just because I think it'll show not togetherness. That's not the word, but it'll show that basically that he believes in those players. That you got a result against Spurs. Yeah, I get that. Okay, you've got a point against Palace, but try and do it again on a Tuesday night. The only change, as I say, will probably be Peters being out because he looked crocked, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Peters will be out. Taylor will come in. Graham Jennings has put a comment that he put a few minutes ago. His team for the Leicester game. He's gone for Pope, Roberts, Talking Me, Taylor, Lennon, Westy, Brownhill, McNeil. So he's gone for Westy in the middle, McNeil, and he's gone Corney and Vegas. I would lean more towards Graham's thinking because I thought in the first half we did look lethargic today, and I think it might just catch up with us again.
Yeah.
Matt, what are your thoughts? What would you do for Leicester?
I'd leave Cork in. I think Cork works better with Brownhill. I think Westwood, he does all right, but I think he just hits them balls like he did in the second half, where it's round the back and over the top sort of thing. And it's them most of the time. If nothing's working, then he just reverts to them, and then he keeps trying them, and it doesn't work for us. Like we scored today, but we're offside.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see Westy in the middle with Veghorst up top, because I agree with you. I do think that Cork and Brown will suit each other pretty well, but I think the midfield has got a lot better because of Veghorst coming in and dropping into the midfield and helping the midfield out. So I'd like to see Westy. I'd like to see Westy within that midfield. He gets a lot of stick on Burnley Twitter, does Westy. I'm not particularly sure why. He's had a few poor games. Definitely he's had a few poor games. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Westy. But I agree with both. I do think Brownhill and Cork complement each other quite well. I'm going to start wrapping it up because Bradley from Talk BFC, he's not coming. I'm not sure what's happened. I hope he's okay. So we've touched on the relegation battle a bit, though. I'll quickly ask you both now. Are Norwich 100% gone?
Yeah, I think so.
Dan, you're nodding, yeah?
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, we already put a fat R against the name before they'd even kicked a ball, but
Yeah, true.
You know,
well, but even when they won championship, I was like, nah, they're gone.
yeah, stick that red line through them already.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're down. They're done for. Dean Smith's not going to do it. They've had a couple of results, fair enough. They can stick that on a DVD, do a Spurs, but they're going down.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree with that. What about Watford, though?
See, Roy's never been relegated, has he? As a manager, he's never took a club. He's never been relegated as a manager. So, yeah, exactly. We saw it with Sam Allardyce. He came into West Brom, didn't he? Tried to keep them up. However, you know, sometimes lightning doesn't strike a good couple of times. So hopefully, it'll just showcase that Roy's not the man, and Watford will drop as well.
Yeah, you agree with that, Matt?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, a good point from today, though.
I can't believe it. It's poor from United, that.
They fucking wind me up, Man United. They wind me up. I'm in one of them last man standing fucking WhatsApp group things where you put a 10 in and you pick a 10. I picked Man United this week, so I'm fuming. It's only second round and I'm out already.
No wonder you want to wrap this up and go out, man.
Yeah. I ain't checked my bets online, though, but I definitely would have backed Man United to win, so I'm not even going to bother doing it. But yeah, that's it then for this week's show. Dan, do you want to tell everyone where they can find you and your content before we do go?
Yeah, you can find me on Turf Morehouse TV or just at Turf Morehouse. It's good to see the solidarity between a lot of Burnley channels as well. So I really do thank you, Joe, and Simon last week for giving me a voice on your platform as well. But yeah, you can catch me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Trying to get involved with all social media possible. But yeah, please do go check us out and show your support.
Yeah, definitely. And Matt, you have nothing.
I have nothing.
So, but you will probably see more of Matt on TurfCast over the coming weeks and months because he's been asking questions and this was his audition and he's done all right, to be fair, his old Matt. Some ridiculous opinions.
On TikTok, Joe.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping people forget about that, and I'm pretty annoyed that FansBet clicked that up because I said it as like a throwaway jokey comment, and they clicked it on it. I was like, "Oh, get practicing then." I might have to actually do one.
After a few drinks, you'll be fine.
Yeah, well, you might see some clips of me dancing tonight if people get the phones out. But I'm working it morning at 7 a.m. in Leeds.
Joe, so when the best time to do it is? When fans storm the pitch on the last day of the season, we stay up in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, in the middle of the pitch.
With Wego.
I might, with Wego. I might struggle to get down there from top tier at Jimmy Mack.
Yeah, well.
I can do it.
But we did it as kids, didn't we? You'd rush out 5 minutes before end, jump into lower, because straight up the stairs, straight on.
Yeah. I do remember those days, to be fair. I can't remember when I went on. I can't remember when I ran up pitch. But anyway, that's it. Like I said, we're going to wrap up. My camera, for some reason, keeps freezing as well, so it's a good time to wrap up as well. It does this when it does too much sometimes. But thanks for watching. If you've just joined us late, I'll quickly get the podcast clipped up and then I'll get it out there. That's a horrible freeze for him. That is a horrible freeze for him. I'll quickly get it clipped up. There we go. And so you can listen to a podcast. And if you listen to this on a podcast afterwards and you want to be involved in the live show, just give us a follow on all the social media channels and you'll be able to get on for the one against Leicester on Tuesday. But thanks for watching or listening, and we will see you next time.